Everybody, welcome back to more of the Outer Worlds. Alright, so we got our ship. Unfortunately the power generator thing is fried or missing. So we're gonna have to go see if we can get a new one. Oh, order. He dead. So we're gonna head to this. Oh, there's a resident. Oh. Oh. God dang it. There's a lot of them. We got more here. Yeah, I think we're out of ammo. We actually are. Okay, now we got more. There's some more. Did we loot everybody around here? Someone died behind a rock. Maybe not. What we got down there? We got little doggy things. It looks like they're eating something. What were you guys doing? Oh, it's a grave. Shovel. Lone grave discovered. That reminds me of Giant's Causeway. Cool place if you've never been there and you're from the UK. What is this? The remains of a... Can I go in? Oh wow. Damn. Can we not go in though? Is that... Can you swim? Nope. Swimming's a no-go. I don't think I can go in there. Then that's the maximum we can do. Right, let's have a look what we got. Got a grenade launcher. Some kind of blade. Pretty cool. I don't feel like you never like try out the blades and stuff. I just don't have much interest in being melee in this game, honestly. Can we go this way? Ah. Okay. There nobody. Oh, there's people over there.
Whoa,
Howdy.
hey, don't go ambling out in those hills. That's marauder territory, friend. Your pod? What are you on about? You take a bruise to the cranium? Ain't safe out here. You'd best head into town. Avail yourself of Edgewater's high walls and low prices.
Hey, you sound like a salesman.
I am employed by the Retirement Department of Spacer's Choice. That's fancy talk for working in the cemetery. Name's Silas, junior in humor for the town of Edgewater. We're all part of the Spacer's Choice family.
Who do I talk about a power regulator?
Definitely not the junior in humor, that's for sure. If you've got business inquiries, you should stop by Reed Thompson's office. He's up in the tower above the cannery. Head into town, follow the road. Look, you obviously ain't a worker. What's your racket? You a smuggler? Freelancer?
I do what I want.
Got a knack for being discreet-like? There's money to be made, long as you keep your nose clean. Edgewater is a company town, board-owned and operated. That includes the cemetery. None of us own our grave sites, we rent them from the company. Renting means money. Money means paperwork. Paperwork means signatures. Some of our families become a mite delinquent in paying their dues, you see?
You want me to collect what's owed you? I can do that.
4 workers still haven't paid up. Phyllis, Conrad, Ludwig, and Martin Abernathy. He's a special case. You may want to twist his arm a little.
Where can I find them?
Conrad's got a barbershop in town. Phyllis works at the cannery most hours. Abernathy... I ain't seen him in a few days. His domicile is near the cannery. You'll find him in town. All except Ludwig, that is. He's over by the landing pad.
Why is Abernathy a special case?
He just is. Look, I don't want to get into it. Just make sure he pays up.
Something else I wanted to ask you. Town's been pretty bad cheap if it's keeping you employed.
You could look at it that way, I suppose. You could look at us and say, those Edgewater saps lost near every soul to plague. But you'd be wrong. We're survivors. Loyal company folk, brave in the wilds.
You're not worried about falling sick?
Every now and again, a virulent plague sweeps through our town. That's life on the frontier, I suppose. A body grows accustomed.
How long have you been a junior in humor, grade digger, whatever?
Hang on, I'm doing some math in my head. 20, 30, carry the 1. All my life?
Good
Work's
maths.
been real good to me. Fresh air, exercise. Only problem's the paperwork. Can't get anybody to pay their gravesite fees.
You lose a lot of people to marauders?
Former people, yeah. Marauders been raiding my graves, you see. Hence the armed guards.
Why are they after loot?
Oh no. They are after the most precious loot of all. Spacer's Choice Company property. If those marauders swipe any more bodies out of my cemetery, company's gonna duck my pay.
Okay. Okay, let's head into the town then. I think, unless there's other stuff to be... I don't want to steal stuff. I consider my guy like a confident, but not a thief. Welcome to... What's his? Yeah, I'm not stealing. Yeah, let's get into town. Right, Edgewater.
And your rations yet?
Yep, 2 whole cans of salt tuna.
No, carry on. Okay. I guess my giant sword scared them.
I've been feeling pretty low these days.
We should keep our voices down.
You glanced at me.
Please
Oh, wait.
don't point that at me.
Oh! Sorry. Constable Reyes.
Welcome to the Spacer's Choice Constabulary. We are Halcyon's leading brand in frontier justice. The office is writing up promotion. Purchase 3 criminal investigations and the 4th one's free. Know how to carry yourself
Looking
in a
for
fight?
work.
I've got bounties out for these 3 marauders. Cross them off and bring me their fingers. Just 1 per marauder, please. I'll dust off the old fingerprint roller. as long as your questions fall within the acceptable margins of curiosity.
Does the name Phineas Wellers mean anything to you?
His likeness decorates many a wanted poster. Do you have any relevant information about this individual?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking. Looks like there's a bounty on his head.
You're correct. An outstanding bounty has been posted for information pertaining to the whereabouts of Phineas V. Wells.
If the board's paying, I'm willing to collect on that bounty.
Unfortunately, the arrest of Mr. Wells falls outside my authority. I enforce the company policy of Spacer's Choice in the region of Emerald Vale. Wells is wanted by the board. If you have information related to the location of Phineas V. Wells, you are required to submit that information to your nearest board authority.
Alright, so who do I have to talk to?
Any information regarding outstanding bounties and wanted criminals should be directed to Mr. Udom Bedford. Mr. Bedford's office is located on the Groundbreaker.
Groundbreaker? What's that?
Halcyon's original colony ship, now repurposed into a space station. Mr. Udom Bedford represents the board's interest on the Groundbreaker. Something else I can do for you?
No, we're good.
Been eating nothing but salt tuna for a year.
A workbench. Yeah, as well. Hello, corporate guard.
Hey, you hear about Wilson?
Heard Marauders got in.
Just between us?
Wilson deserted.
Is that not the guy that we... Maybe we should go back to...
The grease monkey, Argo? Seems we've got a guest. Really now, Parvati, I do wish you'd spoken up. I do apologize. I was given no forewarning of your arrival, or I might have welcomed you at the gates myself.
Are you Reed? I was told I should talk to you. You must be the town boss.
I'm Reed Thompson, Outpost Administrator. I cannot help but notice you are not in uniform.
I don't work for Spacer's Choice.
Of course not. I don't have that kind of luck. Seems I allowed my excitement to run away with my wits. Been a few seasons since we've had a visitor pass through.
My ship needs repairs. I'm looking for a power regulator.
Only regulator we got is hooked up to the town transformer. Mr. Thompson ain't liable to be keen on dismantling it.
I beg your pardon. I am most emphatically not keen on any such thing. I can't let you have our power regulator. But I happen to know of another one. And I happen to know exactly how you may retrieve it without frying yourself in the process.
You let me guess. You want me to do something for you before you'll help me?
My proposition benefits the both of us. Please, hear me out. There's a power regulator in the old botanical lab. It's mostly abandoned, so all that power is being squandered. Go down to the geothermal plant. Reroute power from the botanical district over to us. Once their power's shut down, you can have their regulator and be along on your way.
When you say mostly abandoned, what do you mean?
I was not entirely sure how to tell you this. The botanical labs are not legally inhabited, but there are people who live there.
I don't think you mean marauders. Marauders aren't people.
The people living in the botanical labs. They're deserters, former workers. I need them back at their posts. I need them to come home.
If you want me to solve your desert problem, I charge by the head.
Good law, no. I don't want you killing anyone, least of all them. My hope is that by cutting off their power, you will convince those deserters to come back to town. Before you go to the plant, I want you to stop by the botanical lab. Speak to their leader. Adelaide. Tell her the power's about to go, and that it's time her band of deserters came back to town.
Alright.
My dad told me all about the plant. Taught me all he knew. I could come in useful. I mean, if that's all right with you, Mr. Thompson. Sir.
I hesitate to part ways with Miss Holcomb, but I cannot deny that she is talented and may prove useful to you. You will need an administrative passcode in order to enter the plant. I am trusting you with mine, and trusting Miss Holcomb to guide you if you'd like.
Sure.
Great! I got my wrenches and diagnosticators and hairpins and engine tape, so I'm all set.
Well, I am glad to hear that. Best of luck to you, and thank you again for your help. It is a lot to ask of a stranger, I know.
Get going. Hello. You're now my companion. Wow, your armor's actually pretty good. And your gun is better than mine. Damn it. Why are you better than me? It's not how it's supposed to be. Okay.
Hey, mister, can we talk? Sorry. Sorry. You just want to get out of here. And you likely don't want to tag along like me. It's just, Mr. Thompson has his own view on matters, on account of it's his job and what all, but that's not the only side of the tale.
This is about the deserters, so what's the other side of it?
To Mr. Thompson, a person's a gear. It does its job quiet-like. If it squeaks or stutters, it gets replaced. The deserters are decent folk. I knew some of them before they left.
Did you know this Adelaide Reed mentioned?
Miss McDevitt? Oh, gosh, no. She was a real important person. A flavorist. Made all the food taste decent. She used to work up in the big office with Mr. Thompson. All I know is she left after her son died. It was a real big to-do. I could hear them both yelling clear from my own place.
Why were they arguing?
Can't say as I know. I wasn't there. The sound carried, but not the words. If Mr. Thompson ain't of a mind to tell you his own self, you'd best ask Miss McDevitt, if you can get out to her.
How well did you know the deserters?
I don't know anybody well. I mostly listened to them talk, kept my head down. There was a boy named Thomas who used to follow me around, asking questions about the stuff I fixed. He was real sweet to me. Not any sort of dissident.
I'm sure those are very fine people, so what?
Mr. Thompson's aiming to take away their power. They'll have no lights to see, nor heat to cook. They'll be at the mercy of marauders, or worse. It don't seem right to me, mister. I think you should talk to the town's vicar about it. Max, his name is.
I suppose it couldn't hurt. We'll stop
Thanks,
by.
mister. I just think when you gotta make a decision that'll hurt somebody, it's best to think on the right and wrong of it. That's what my dad used to say anyways.
Alright. Your dad sound like a smart man. How do I get out of here, by the way? Never mind. Right. Botanical lab.
I've been feeling pretty low these days.
What's over this way? Is this the church?
I've always felt weird in here.
There he is.
Clean.
Yes, what is it? You're an outsider. Fantastic. Vicar Maximilian de Soto at your service. Or Vicar Max if you're the sort who prefers brevity. And Ms. Holcomb as well. How rare to see you out. And with a complete stranger. Curious.
Just tagging along, Vicar DeSoto. Don't mind me.
I so rarely get new people to talk to. Name your poison, anything at all. Spiritual counseling, this season's tossball predictions, the quickest way out of town.
But what? I thought you would talk to him.
You wanted to speak to me, Ms. Holcomb? Every time I've tried to engage you in conversation, you look at the floor, answer in single words, and slink away. I can't imagine what would be so grave as to drive her to my mission. What has Mr. Thompson asked you to do?
There we go. Cut the
Depriving them
power.
of safety from the marauders and wildlife. I can see why that troubles you. Miss Holcomb has a soft heart. Always has, if you believe the talk.
What do you think?
They rejected the order of society and live beyond the walls so thoughtfully provided by our Spacer's Choice patrons. Does that strike you as a responsible life choice?
Not really.
Astute.
Depends on the leader, though.
But I am here, not in the deserter camp. So that's not a variable I can account for.
So what do you advise?
Assuming your goal is to save as many as possible, then you should bring everyone together. Send the power to Edgewater and convince the deserters to return to the fold.
I got my work cut out for
If
me.
you don't mind a bit of unsolicited advice, be cautious on your way to the geothermal plant. It is not as safe as you might assume.
I've been outside. I'm not impressed. I can handle myself better than the vicar.
The marauders I met when I ventured outside the walls might agree with you. Bastards snuck up on me while I was dutifully hunting for a banned book in a collector's library. Barely escaped with my life. But you see, one of the reasons I transferred here was to get my hands on that heretical text. If you managed to acquire it for me, I'd pay quite a handsome sum for the book.
I will find that book for you. Why do Vicar be after a banned heretical book?
I just want to keep the writing out of layman's hands.
He wants.
It wouldn't do for such information to fall into public consumption.
You make a compelling. I need to know a little bit more about this book before I agree to this.
It's a handwritten journal. A faded blue cover with the name M. Bakonu handwritten in the lower corner. I'll mark where I saw it on your map. Assuming you're serious? It is not only a beautiful relic of a bygone time, it's also the thoughts of an early thinker on the nature of man's place in the cosmos. Not many in this colony could understand its true value, should they ever read it.
Okay, I'll look for this book.
Thank you. If you retrieve it, you can always find me here.
Okay. Right. Looks like we're heading out into the open world, buddy. But you're going to have to wait for the next episode for that, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you haven't, remember to hit that like button and subscribe. It's probably, so have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.